Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into something really interesting?
I am.
Today we're talking about Red Bull.
Ah, Red Bull, the drink that gives you wings, right.
That's the slogan, and we're going to see if it really holds up.
Okay, sounds intriguing. Where are we getting our info from?
We're looking at a YouTube video from Business Casual called Red Bull, the real story behind the can.
Oh, I've seen that channel. They do good stuff.
Yeah, they do. And, most of us have probably had a Red Bull at some point, maybe to get through a late night or something.
Oh, for sure. I've definitely had my share of Red Bulls during finals week.
But the story behind this little can is actually pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah. How so?
It's got everything, like international business deals, fortunes being made, even a few lawsuits.
Lawsuits. Now I'm really curious.
So to kick things off, Red Bull didn't start in some high-tech lab or anything like that.
Oh, really?
It actually comes from Thailand.
Thailand. Wow, that's not what I would have expected.
Right. I mean, when you think of Red Bull, you think extreme sports, energy, pushing limits.
Yeah, definitely not the first place that comes to mind.
But think about Thailand in the mid-20th century. A lot of poverty, political instability. Not exactly the image Red Bull projects now.
That's true. It's a huge contrast.
Exactly. You've got over 70% of the population living in rural areas, barely getting by on a couple dollars a day. And from there comes this drink that pretty much takes over the world.
It's kind of a remarkable story when you put it that way.
And it all starts with this guy, Tralio Uvica, the guy who created Red Bull. Talk about a self-made entrepreneur.
What's his story?
I mean, this is a guy who went from herding ducks as a kid to founding a pharmaceutical company.
Whoa, that's impressive.
Right. He was super observant, too. He realized that the energy drinks in Thailand at the time were all fancy, imported stuff for rich people in Bangkok.
Makes sense.
But Chaleo saw this huge gap in the market. The working class, people pulling long hours, truck drivers, night shift workers, they all needed a boost.
Yeah, they're the ones who really need that extra energy.
Exactly. And no one was catering to them. But Chaleo wasn't just a businessman. He was like a chemist, too. He studied those other energy drinks really carefully, figuring out what made them work, especially this ingredient called taurine
Taurine, that's the stuff that's supposed to be.
from bull semen.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, that's a total myth that's been floating around the internet forever.
Oh, really? Where does it actually come from then?
It's from ox bile.
Ox bile, well, that's charming.
Yeah, not exactly appetizing. But the thing is, taurine itself is actually naturally occurring. It's in our bodies. And it's important too, like for your heart, muscles, all sorts of things.
So Chaleo was onto something with taurine.
Exactly. He saw how it could be this potent energy booster. And he kept the ingredients simple.
Right.
Taurine, caffeine, some B vitamins, sugar.
Basic, but effective.
Totally. And then he comes up with this awesome branding, the two red gars charging against the gold disc.
Yeah, the iconic Red Bull logo.
It just screams strength and energy, right?
For sure, it's super powerful imagery. And the gar, being this huge wild bovine, is like a symbol of strength in Southeast Asia.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they represent strength, masculinity, a bit of danger even.
So it ties into that whole Red Bull vibe perfectly.
Exactly, it's really smart branding.
And Chaleo was strategic with how he launched the drink, too. It was originally called Krating Dong, by the way.
Krating Dong.
Yeah, and instead of trying to make it a big hit in Bangkok, he went straight to rural Thailand.
Interesting. Why would he do that?
Well, think about it. He's got this drink associated with strength and energy. He's trying to appeal to working class folks. And what's huge in rural Thailand?
I don't know. Farming.
Muay Thai. It was super popular in the 70s.
Ah, Muay Thai. That makes sense.
So instead of fancy billboards, you've got these charging red gars all over the Muay Thai arenas.
It's like he's going right to the heart of his target audience.
Exactly. It was genius marketing.
It really was. He tied the drink to this cultural phenomenon.
And it worked. Krating Dang just blew up.
Especially when the Thai economy started booming in the 70s and 80s.
Right. It became this symbol of success, of working hard and making it big. But then the story goes international. This Austrian marketing guy, Dietrich Mateschitz, comes into the picture.
Dietrich, this is where Red Bull goes global, right?
Exactly. Dietrich's on a business trip in Thailand, and the story goes he's got some serious jet lag.
Oh, I hate jet lag.
Yeah, it's the worst. But he tries Krating Dang, and boom, jet lag gone.
So that's how he discovered it?
Yep. He sees this huge opportunity and decides to team up with Chaleo to bring the drink to the West, to Europe.
Smart move.
But they knew they needed to make some changes for the European market.
Yeah, Krating Dang's probably a little too how do I put it?
foreign.
Maybe. Like the branding's very Thai. The taste might not be for everyone.
Totally. So they carbonated it, made it a little more familiar for European tastes,
Good idea.
and they changed the name to Red Bull.
Much catchier, for sure.
Right. Easier to remember, easier to say. But then there's this new problem. How do you market this drink that's, kind of associated with rural Thailand to people in Europe?
That's a challenge. How did they pull that off?
Dietrich, the marketing genius. He goes straight for young people, college students.
Ah, the energy drink demographic.
Exactly. But he doesn't use, normal advertising. He does this whole guerrilla marketing thing.
Guerrilla marketing, what's that?
It's all about being unexpected, creating buzz. Imagine Red Bull cars driving around college campuses handing out free cans at parties.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's not billboards or TV commercials. It's word of mouth. It's this exclusive feeling.
that's clever.
And then there's the slogan, the one we all know. Red Bull gives you wings.
Iconic.
Totally. But that slogan actually got them in trouble later on.
Oh, what happened?
So in 2013, there's this class action lawsuit. People claim the drink didn't actually give you wings.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But Red Bull ended up having to pay out millions of dollars to settle it.
Wow. You really got to be careful with your marketing claims, I guess.
You do. But anyway, back to Red Bull's marketing strategy. They didn't stop at parties and slogans. They went all in on extreme sports, starting with this thing called Flug Tag.
Flug tag. What's that?
It's this crazy event where people build these homemade flying machines and try to launch them off a pier.
That sounds wild.
It is totally embodies that Red Bull spirit.
So they're connecting the drink with risk-taking, with adventure.
Exactly. They're not just selling a drink, they're selling a whole lifestyle.
Smart.
And then they took it a step further. They got into Formula One racing.
Formula One? Wow, that's a big jump.
They went all in, bought 2 teams, poured tons of money into it.
Paid off though, right?
Big time. Their team, Red Bull Racing, has won a bunch of championships.
Yeah, they dominate Formula One. So they went from Flug Tag to Formula One.
But they didn't stop there. They sponsored the Red Bull Stratos jump.
The Stratos jump? That was insane.
I know. Felix Baumgartner jumping from the edge of space.
It was unbelievable.
The whole world was watching.
I remember watching it live.
Me too.
It was incredible.
This guy jumping from space.
It was a pretty amazing feat of engineering.
And human courage, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Baumgartner free-falling from 24 miles up?
Something like that.
Breaking the sound barrier on the way down?
And of course, Red Bull's behind the whole thing.
Streaming it live to millions of people.
I mean, talk about pushing limits, right?
That's Red Bull in a nutshell.
Pushing boundaries, defying expectations.
Achieving the impossible.
But it wasn't just a spectacle.
No, definitely not. They actually got some really valuable scientific data from that jump.
About, how the human body handles those kinds of extreme conditions.
And exactly, high-altitude stuff. It really contributed to science.
So it wasn't just for show.
No, not at all.
Right,
It was
yeah.
a PR stunt, for sure.
But it advanced scientific knowledge, too.
Which is pretty cool.
I mean, think about it.
They created a whole brand identity that's all about adventure and pushing human potential.
All around an energy drink.
It's amazing how they've done that. Built this whole universe.
It's not just a drink, it's a lifestyle, a community.
All about pushing those boundaries.
And that's got to be a big part of their success, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. They tapped into something way deeper than just needing a caffeine boost.
It's like they inspire people.
Yeah, to reach for their dreams, to do something extraordinary.
Break free from the ordinary.
I think it makes you wonder what's next for Red Bull.
What crazy thing are they going to do next?
Right. What other boundary are they going to push?
I have no idea, but I can't wait to see it.
It's hard to say, but they never seem to slow down.
They're always coming up with something new
Always innovating, trying new things,
and not afraid to take risks.
like sponsoring a guy jumping out of a balloon at the edge of space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what does all this mean for, the average person?
What can we learn from Red Bull's success?
Well, I think it's a reminder that a good idea can be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, if you understand your audience and know how to market it.
And be creative, be bold.
Red Bull's story is a perfect example of that.
It's like even in a world where there are a million brands and products out there.
There's always room for something new, something that really inspires people.
So if you want to make your mark on the world,
Yeah, if you want to create something amazing,
take a page from Red Bull's playbook.
be bold, be creative.
Don't be afraid to push those limits.
Maybe you'll inspire the next generation of dreamers and doers.
And on that note,
That's our deep dive into Red Bull.
we want to hear from you.
What's that impossible dream that you're chasing?
Let us know.
Until next time, Keep exploring
Keep questioning.
and keep diving deep